well. So welcome everyone to our BBE Talk number 17. So this BBE Talk, we have a team of hospitality and tourism, and we are focusing on adaptation in tourism and hospitality as the needs of customers are shaped by the pandemic. So we are going to be talking about a very current issue that we are facing in this industry right now. And for our discussion topics, we have two speakers from Mr. Stefan Ang from Wanderis and Mrs. Anita from Moana Sustainable Bicycle Tour. So welcome everyone, and if we could go on with the next slide, I would like to start with introducing first Bukit Vista and BBE Talks as well. So Bukit Vista is a property management company based mainly in Bali and Jakarta, and our mission is basically to inspire delight through hospitality innovations that positively transform our guests, employees, and partners. And our vision is to inspire delight everywhere, everyone, every time. So as you can see, we have 8 core values that we apply during our working environment and during our relationship with our partners as well. And basically, our BBE talks is to have experts on fields to actually inspire people who are freshly graduate or who are actually interested in topics through making discussions with each other and giving their opinions on certain issues regarding our team and our discussion topics as well. So today, maybe if we can go on with the next slide, I would also like to introduce our project managers for this event. So as for our project managers, we have me, Ekin, who is an HR intern in Bukit Vista company. So I'm an undergrad student at Bukit University in Turkey. So excuse my accent in talking about if I have to say anything in Bahasa, I'm sorry about that. So I'm a psychology student and I've been actually interning in Bukit Vista since July. And we have our second project manager, Lalita. Lalita, would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Akin. So, hi everyone. My name is Lalita Tandayu. I'm one of the project managers with Akin in this DVE Talk 17. And fun fact, I once thought this picture of flying penguin was real when I was young, but it turns out to be a prank from the BBC. Yeah, okay. And also, I'm an undergraduate student at Universitas Sanatan Dharma Yogyakarta, majoring in English letters. And for your information, my internship period as the public relation intern in Bukit Vista is started from June until today, actually, in 24th September 2021. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Akin.
Thank you so much, Lolita. And maybe in our next slide, so I will actually like to invite our co-hosts of the event to actually give brief introductions. So we have Google Developer Student Club from Binance International. We have the Tourism and Hospitality Community from Hotel Institute Bandung, and we have also the Himpunan Mahasiswa Pariwisata Universitas Indonesia as well for our co-hosts. So maybe starting from Binance International, our co-hosts can actually start introducing themselves as well. So going on with the next slide. And the floor is for the representative of the Google Developer Student Club of Binance University.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, clearly.
All right. So my name is Jason Jeremy Wijadi, and I'm the Google Developer Student Club's lead for Bina International this year. As one of the co-hosts for today, I'll be introducing what GDSC is in general and what our university chapter has been up to. So next slide, please. So what is GDSC? So Google Developer Student Clubs are community groups for college and university students interested in Google developer technologies. It's a community to learn together and create solutions for the betterment of everyone. Students from all undergraduate or graduate programs with an interest in growing as a developer are welcome. And by joining a GDSC chapter, students can grow their knowledge in a peer-to-peer learning environment. And our main mission is to connect, learn, and grow. This program itself is supported by Google developers. Next slide, please. All right, so who are we? So in this academic year, I will be leading as the GDSC lead for the Business International chapter. We have our advisor on the left there, who just so happens to be the GDSC lead from last year. We have our secretary division, our design division, and then we have 2 people each for our presenter, project manager, and communications. So 10 people in total. Next slide, please. Our previous events include our Android Adventure Quest, study jam sessions where we teach the basics of the Kotlin programming language and Android for beginner programmers. We also have our Solution Challenge info session that is conducted each year. So this is mainly to promote the Solution Challenge, GDSC's own annual event where teams all around the world compete and send in their solutions for the betterment of the world. Last year, it was about UN 17 SDGs, and there were about 800 teams that participated. And fun fact is that our team here from International, that consists of me, our own advisor, and 2 other GDSC members, made it to the final top 10 just a few months ago. And next slide, please. We also have our Epic Info session to start off the year to get members that are interested in joining our seminars and workshops. We've also had a collaboration event with GDSC Gunadarma University on smart home automation with a limited budget. And our final event of the year, next slide. Oh, 1 slide previously. Next slide. Next slide. Maybe we're missing a slide here, yeah. Can we try going to the next slide? Okay, the last one is skip, but it's about AI Talk, where we collaborated with our Computer Science Association to get one of the lecturers and our core team to discuss about AI. But let's go into this. Contact us. So you can contact and find us to our Instagram at GDSC Business Inter, and also our chapter page at gdsc.community.dev/binus-university-international. So my final message for you university undergraduates out there is to not forget to sign up to a GDSC near you to join in for the journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Maybe if we move on to the next slide, we will carry on with our next co-host representatives. If you can, yes. So Tourism Business Management from Bandung Institute of Tourism. If the representative of this co-host can come on and do the brief introduction, that would be great.
Okay, thanks in advice. Good evening, everyone. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Syaulan, and I'm here as the president of Student Association of Tourism Business Management Study Program from Bandung Institute of Tourism, or as known as MBW from STP NHI Bandung. Here, I would like to say thank you very much for the invitation from Bukit Vista Group to Bukit Vista, this Bukit Vista e-talk event. It's been an honor to be invited by this big company. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, I also have a team like a Bukit Vista Desk. This is the structure of our team, HIMA for 2021 and 2022 period. Me as a president and assisted by my vice president, secretary, treasurer, and also we have some department here, such as human research, public relation, and recreation division. Okay, sorry. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And this is our next event. It's a social program that we've discussed, and it's called Recreation. This event is mainly about donation, and our target is to donate money and other following items as we could see here. This in this pamphlet to Albar Orphanage, Bandung, West Java. So if you would like to donate something, you could communicate to the contact person here. And I think that's all from us. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you very much. And maybe if we can go on with the next slide, we can actually have our next co-host representative have their introduction as well.
Okay, thank you, Akin. So, hello everyone. Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Yes,
Anita, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening. First of all, I want to say thank you to Bukit Vista for allowing me to introduce HIMTA. So, also, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Anita Masya Safira, but mostly they call me Vira, and I'm the president of HIMTA UI 2021. So now I want to present about HIMTA 2021. So HIMTA is an organization containing tourism students, University of Indonesia. So here's the logo of HIMTA. Next. So HIMTA has three values. The first one is participatory. It means we want to involve the participation of tourism student University of Indonesia, especially the members of HIMTA UI 2021 in all existing contributions and run actively. And the second is integrity. It means we want to apply the value of integrity, that is a form of honesty and unity that is implemented in real terms so that they can trust each other and it will be easier to achieve common goals. And the third one is quality. It means we want to create quality members of HIMTA UI 2021 by being able to account for the organization's mission in achieving the goals that have been set. Next. So we have vision and mission, and our vision is to make HIMTA UI 2021 as an organization with integrity and responsibility in order to create a quality University of Indonesia tourism students, as well as realizing University of Indonesia tourism personnel who are participative by upholding family values. And our mission, we have four missions. The first one is able to build, establish, and strengthen relationships between University of Indonesia tourism personnel, especially University of Indonesia HIMTA members with family spirit. And the second is implement and optimize activities by involving student participation. And the third is contribute as a place to accommodate and channel aspirations and talents of University of Indonesia tourism students. And the last one is optimizing the functions of each department and maintaining the quality of the work of members. Next. So this is me as a president of HIMTA UI, and I have two vice president in this association, and I have one secretary, and I have two treasurers. Next. So this is a head of department. Next. So we have 8 departments in this organization. The first one is Human Resources Management Department, and second is Economic and Business Department, and the third is Art and Culture Department, and fourth is Sports Department, and 5 is Tourism Interest Department, and 6 is Communication Department, and 7 is Scientific Department, and the last one is Department of Social and Community. Next. So in this association, we can say is proker or that is work programs. So we have 32 work programs. Next. And for more information, we have Instagram. You can search and at himta.ui, and also we have one project. The name is Pelabuhan, and the Instagram name is at pelabuhan.ui, and also we have YouTube. and you can subscribe. You can search with Wonderful Pariwisata UI. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita, for the introduction. So everyone, this was three of our co-hosts actually introducing their institutions and organizations as well. So please make sure to check out their contacts as well. And if we can move on with the next slides, please. So I would actually like to pass the floor to our events moderator, Ara, and she can do her introduction as well. So Ara, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very well, Akin. And welcome everyone. Good evening. I hope you have a good day. And I hope that from today's sessions, we're going to be coming out with something really insightful. Before we start, maybe I'd like to introduce myself first. So hi everyone, my name is Ara in short. Stated there, it's a long name, so just call me Ara. I'm currently working as the Human Resource Director in Bukit Vista. A little bit fun fact about me is that one of my best friend is a horse. So it's an actual horse. So I really like horse. So that's why I mentioned about a horse. And I attached that contact just in case that maybe you'd like to have further discussions with me after the meeting. So I attached my WhatsApp for the fastest response. Okay, let's go to the next slide then. Okay, so I think the next slide, we're going to introduce our interesting and amazing speakers for this evening. There will be Mr. Stephen Angkiriwang and Mrs. Anita Briana. So maybe let's go and greet one by one. Let's see, go to the next slide, please. Okay, over to you first, Mbak Anita.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Anita, the CEO and founder of Moana Sustainable Bicycle Tour, based in Yogyakarta in Indonesia. I studied business management in Faculty Economic and Business Management, UGM, yeah, in Jogja also. I was a business practitioner coach in USA and Min Foundation, a social media strategist, and the founder of several small business. And fun fact about me is I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, and I plan to change my short name to be Radcliffe. Hopefully you know about Radcliffe. And I can introduce about my business is Moana. Next slide, please. Yeah. Well, the story starts when my concern about stress really. As you know, stress is inevitable, something that people can avoid. You can be stressed because of you feel like a lot of things to do, you have not enough time and money, and you are other personal reason. But the good news is the research suggests that in order to relax we need to back to nature, and 78.5% of the respondents in the research want to explore more green zone area after vaccinating. Next slide. Yes, and that's the reason why I have a new baby in business called Moana Sustainable Bicycle Tours. Here we are to heal, inspire, and change life through sustainable bicycle tours. In last 2 years, we are desirable to take you the traveler of the beaten path and show them the real Yogyakarta. And the main idea of Moana is actually provide you the opportunity to discover the insider point of view as we immerse you into the lifestyle and culture of Japanese people. And we will, like you say in the picture, we will show you the places that you would never find by your own, but definitely worth being seen instead of visiting like major touristic site. And that's what we call as sustainable tourism. And I'm glad to tell you that sustainable tourism is going to be the best asset of Indonesia in the future. And next, please. I always put, I think before this slide, oh, yeah, this slide is okay. I think this is the old file that I sent to you guys. Okay, then you can go to the next slide anyway. Okay, and I always put like 300% of myself into this small business. My team also never takes something for granted. As a team, we work hand in hand. And I'm so thankful that in June 2019, Moana was nominated as the most desirable tour chosen by international travelers in more than 27 countries by this year. And by the way, today, and the next is, we are also nominated as the top 5 on TripAdvisor as the outdoor activities that we offer in Jogja. And by few days ago, we are in the top 2 or the second place on TripAdvisor. And in order to maintain healthy cash flow, we suggested all the traveler to book at least 1 month in advance. It happened in 2019, yeah. It's because of the values that we believe to give the excellent service to our loyal customer that finally took us into this stage. But everything ran smoothly until something unexpected happened. And it was pandemic. And you can go to the next slide. Please. And we had no option other than we started again from zero. Basically, we started again from zero like everybody else. Like if some companies has to cut off their employee, we did. If some companies has no income, we have nothing in our bank account. So everything just started again from zero. And that's the, I think, all stories about Moana. We can discuss more about how to be surprised in the next discussion. Thank you.
Okay, maybe the control of the slide can go to the next slide. Yeah, I think Anita meant to be this one, yeah, started from zero again. Okay, that's actually interesting. Later, we're going to ask so many questions about what is the struggle and how do you hustle, Anita, later on. Okay, and then let's go to the next interesting speaker too, about what he owns the Wanderis, CEO of Wanderis. So over to you, Mas Stephen.
All right. Hi, everyone. So actually, my name is Stephen Ankiriwang, and you can just call me Ang, right? To the next slide. All right. So yeah, as I told you before, you can just call me Ang. It is not that long. It is pretty easy for everyone. So about me first, right? I just graduated on 2016 from a university in Bandung. So hi to the folks, university students from Bandung. I used to learn and study there as well. It is like a lovely city right there. And when I graduated, I just joined 80 Rooms. 80 Rooms is a hospitality startup. If you ever heard about Oyo Rooms, Red Doors, or something like that, 80 Rooms is pretty much the same. But unfortunately, it has closed its operations on March or February 2020 last year. Right there, the reason I joined 80 Rooms because I really love tourism and hospitality. I traveled a lot since I was a kid. I really grateful that I have the opportunity to travel a lot, and I fell in love with tourism, with hospitality, with traveling. Right. That's why when I had the over to join some other startups and 80 Rooms. Right, I chose 80 Rooms back then because I thought, okay, I just want to do my passion right in tourism and hospitality. And but I think then I decided to move to Gojek because if you guys in Indonesia or maybe in Philippines as well know about Gojek, it is one of the biggest startup in Southeast Asia. And I want to learn more about startup company, and I thought that there will be a lot of learning opportunities there. So I just joined Gojek on 2017. Actually, I'm still working in Gojek. but during my free time, I also do my business in Wanderis, where I co-founded Wanderis on 2020 together with 2 other partners. Right. So actually, right now I'm still juggling between my full-time job in Gojek and also working on the side business with Wanderis. Right, next slide. Yeah, this is about Wanderis. Actually, this is our introduction. I'm sorry for the folks in Philippines because this video will be in Indonesia.
Biar gue jelasin ceritanya dari awal. Pertama kali dimulai dengan perjalanan gue.
So actually, this is like a storytelling about what is Wanderis and how did we started. And this is my friend who actually initially founded Wanderis. And we just rebranded on 2020.
Bertukar ide dan proses lainnya yang sudah kami lewati, kami sadar kami punya goal, visi, dan misi yang sama. Kami juga ingin menjadi sebuah komunitas untuk mereka yang suka traveling, datang ke tempat baru, bertemu orang-orang baru, dan dapetin pengalaman-pengalaman baru yang seru. Kami juga merasa nama Let's Wander Somewhere terlalu panjang buat sebuah brand. Jadi kami menghabiskan waktu berminggu-minggu buat nemuin nama yang tepat. Ya, pakai IS. Nama baru dikunci dan kami.
So actually our initial name was Let's Wander Somewhere, but it is too long. So we just tried to cut it off to Wanderis, right?
Berubah seketika. Stres, nggak tahu harus apa, lanjut launching atau undur dulu. Tapi sampai kapan?
However, we just going to launch a rebranded name on March 2020. Exactly the same.
Makanya,
when
akhir-akhir ini
the
kami memperlihatkan
Indonesian president announced that we need to implement the
lockdown
lockdown.
kami untuk situasi sulit seperti ini. Dan pada akhirnya, kami sadar apa yang kita semua butuhkan. Kami akan berbagi keseruan, mulai dari reunion, post-graduation trips, private, family, company, or even wellness trips. Menarik. All the wonder in wondering that made by you. Yes, you. Dan kami tidak ingin
so we also emphasize that all of our trips can be customized.
Pantai, pulau, perkotaan, apapun itu.
We can wander in Indonesia and we can also wander the world, right? Oh, okay. I think it is buffering. It's okay. But actually, yeah, that's our launching video, right? So basically, we just launched on 20. Actually, Wanderis founded even before that and called Let's Wander Somewhere. But then I met with Ayub, who is the founder of Let's Wander Somewhere, and one of my other friend called Agung. And we just decided that, okay, let's rebrand this. We want to make this big. We want to like becoming one of the biggest travel community and also company within the next 5 years, right? And we prepared everything within that 3 months from January to March 2020 and decided to launch on March 2020. And then at the same time, at the exact same day when we are going to launch, the Jokowi, the president, just announced that, okay, we are going to implement lockdown. So we just don't know what we need to do, right? And we just postponed the launching. And this is the introduction video, like few weeks or I think few weeks later, where we just finally launch it, right? So just to give you a bit picture on what Wanderis is doing is actually we are a tour operator. We are serving both Indonesian market and out of Indonesian market. What make us different with the other tour operator is we emphasize on the experience. We emphasize on the photos and also videos. We know everyone love photos and videos. They want to take something home, right? So there are 2 parts, right? One is the story, the experience that you feel yourself. And the second one is I want to have like a picture or a video of me and my friends and my story, right? When we travel, right? So we emphasize on these 2 things. And then we have like 3 products. One is Wander Nusantara. Nusantara means Wander Indonesia, and Wander the world, and then Wander by you, where you can just like create custom your trip. All right, next slide. And then this is if I can say like why you should choose Wanderis is because we are serving one-stop full service, right? If you also want to book your flight tickets until all the transportations, foods, documentations, everything, you can just tell us and we will serve you. And we have like beautiful travel photos, videos, and then we also serve a lot of unique experience. And we allow you to customize your trip. All right, next slide, and the last slide. Yeah, I think I would hand it over to Ara.
Okay, thank you, Mr. An. That's actually really interesting. And I hope like seeing this, I guess it's not just me, but like everyone is also eager to travel again, right? As soon as possible that it is possible. Especially we have a lot of attendees tonight from Philippines, yeah? So visit us in Indonesia. We're looking forward to visit you too. So hopefully that by the time it will get better, of course. And yeah, I think Wanderis just reminds the excitement of actually going traveling. Okay, for this one, I actually can go to the next slide. I think it's really related to the next slide on our first discussion topic actually. So this relates on what Mbak Anita also previously mentioned about how like they have started again from zero and all. So our first discussions for tonight is that we're wondering here, like what were the problems that needed to be addressed after the pandemic, and what kind of friction did you face while trying to adapt? Maybe I'd like to ask over to Mbak Anita first to maybe give the situation, share us about the experience too regarding this.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to tell something to Ang, how the way you show the destination through picture and video is amazing. I definitely want to visit one of the destination because of your photo and video. Amazing. And okay, thank you so much for your question. Interesting, yeah. I didn't find it easy in the beginning, like everybody else, to get used to a new normal, and we were aware that this pandemic would change the way people travel. And therefore, I can break down the problem into two main problems that we have, yeah. The first is technical problem, and the second is the travel changing pattern. I started with the first problem. The first problem is cover some policies in order to curb the number of people getting infected by the virus. People like prefer to stay at home and restrict the unnecessary travel, right? And if they want to travel to another countries or cities, they should prepare a pile of documents, including like free COVID test, vaccinated card, and some application to be downloaded and some form to be completed. And it was not easy and tiring. And as we know, we had never been in this situation before. Everybody was shocked and gave unfriendly response to this new regulation. Moreover, the quarantine has made them more stressed out, and traveling was not in their list to travel anymore. And this problem actually impacted to the way travelers travel, which I call the travel changing pattern. We were unable to welcome more than 20 people, as we normally can hold more than 20 people, and because of it followed the health protocols. And travelers could flock to another city, right? And it made tourism activities lowest, I would say the lowest month ever. And it impacted, of course, on our monthly sales target. And in this case, in Moana, we need to adjust and modify the tour package. For example, like changing the location from cycling into more environmentally friendly place. And another friction was that we need to allocate our budget as efficient as possible, meaning that sometimes we have to modify the working hours, modify the job desk of the staff, and in addition, we had to change the customer target into more local customer as a result of regulation by government. Like before, normally the travelers are from overseas, but now it's more to local customers. That's
Okay. So over to Mr. Eng. So is it also like sharing the same frictions and mostly about the problems that you faced on Wanderis too?
Yeah. Thank you, Ara. And I totally agree with Mbak Anita, right? I think one thing for sure, what has changed is the regulation, right? Is about all the health protocols, all about the required documents, right? Antigen or PCR swab. I don't know if our friends in Philippines are also experiencing the same. But here in Indonesia, when you want to travel, then you need to add these two documents. One is the antigen, the swab antigen or swab PCR proof that prove you were tested negative, and then the second one is the vaccine certificate, right? So I think that's the first problem that we need to address, right? The change of the regulations, and what kind of frictions when we are trying to adapt is the uncertainties, right? Maybe everyone knows here in Indonesia, the regulation keeps changing every single week. I don't think every single month, I don't think every single year, but every single week, right? So it is pretty hard, right? There are uncertainties, and when there are uncertainties, people are reluctant to plan ahead, right? They just wait and see. They are afraid that when they already plan it ahead, they already set it up, but then things change, right? For example, on June or July, there are a lot of guests that already booked their trip on for August and September, and then suddenly the government say that okay, we have like a strict lockdown, and then everyone just need to cancel and reschedule, right? That will give like people some kind of trauma, right? Last year they already experienced this. They need to cancel all the trips. They need to fight with the tour operators, with the travel agents, with the flight operators for their refund, because everyone wants their refund, and the airlines, the tour operators, they are not ready, right? With this situation, they already faced it one last year, and then they again need to face it again this year, right? So this will give some kind of trauma for the travelers, right? So this is the change and the friction, right? And then I think that's one, same as Mbak Anita with the regulation. And the second one is pretty much the same, which is from the guest itself, right? Back then, on 2020 or 2019, there are a lot of big groups, company outings, school reunion, and so on. That's the cash cow, I guess, right, Mbak Anita? That's the cash cow for tour operators, big groups, right?
Exactly.
Right. You can press the cost. You can, yeah, you have more margin in the big groups, right? But then now it changed, right? No company will go for outing. No family will go for outing. No school will go for farewell and reunion. We don't have the big companies going out. And people are more reluctant to join the open trip, right? So more likely people will join private trip. And what happened in private trip, of course, it is more pricey, it is more expensive. And then what happened now, during the pandemic time, a lot of people, I will not say that all people are impacted. Not all people become hard in economics during this pandemic. Some of them also get richer, right? But they are trying to play safe. They just don't want to waste money. They just don't want to spend a lot of money during this time because it is all about uncertainties. So again, you don't have your cash cow, which is the big groups, and then you cannot open more open trip because people would like to join private trip. But when private trip, it means more expensive, and then people are more reluctant and to join this more pricey or expensive trip. So this is the challenge that we face right now.
Okay, very well. For that case, I was like wondering also, like as you mentioned about the mental state of your customer previously, from like enjoying and everything. Now people are more, concerned of actually doing traveling and so on. Do you actually have this any kind of steps or actions that make prevented that, or like to actually make people, I don't know, maybe make them feel safer when traveling and so on?
Yeah. I think maybe I reflect on what Wanderis did, right, to make them feel safe, right? We have several initiatives. Okay. So before make them safe, we also prepare for the uncertainties, right? So back then, I think when we launched Wanderis, we also kicked off a campaign called Plan Ahead and Wander Soon. So we allow them to just like book with 1 million rupiah, $1,000, no, $100, right? With a down payment of $100, and then you can fly anytime, right? You can just tell us when do you want to go for the trip. So you just pay 1 million rupiah or $100, and then you can choose your departure date until end of 2021. That's one of the thing how we deal with the uncertainties. We want to give people the feel of they feel safe when they book ahead, when they plan ahead. We allow them to have free cancellation, free reschedule. That's what we did back then on 2021. That's how we deal with the uncertainties on the regulations, right? So people willing to plan ahead, people willing to pay the down payment. And the second one on how we make them feel safe, we market, we tell all our travelers that we implement the health protocols. And we also have something called hygiene kit, right? So for all of the travelers, we call them wanderers. For all the wanderers who join our trip, we will give them like hygiene kit, which is consisted of like a surgical mask, and then hand sanitizer and surface disinfectant. And we also limit the number of packs in a trip up to 12 people. Right, so we don't. Our very first trip on November 2020, there are about like 20 people want to join the trip, but unfortunately we need to reject. We just accept the first 12 passengers because we just don't want to risk ourselves as well. We just don't want to risk our wanderers as well. So that's what we did actually.
I see. Okay. Actually, that's like trending too in hotelier, I would say, in mostly hotel in Indonesia, where it's become trending, where like there is this sentence says that book now, stay later, right? So yeah, I think it's part of the part where people do to actually in response on how people like feeling safer to book. And that's actually relates to our second discussion. So maybe over to the next slide. Yes. So the second discussion was asking about what are the precaution actually that were taken for the pandemic, and what kind of limitations did this precaution cause in your business? Maybe to Anita.
Yes, it's another challenging question. Actually, first precaution is about health protocol, of course, and also making sure that the place we were safe enough to visit. And we had to take several preventive actions, such as like the traveler should use their personal stuff, like tumbler, and then also we have limiting number of the group members. And the second, of course, everybody, like the number of visitor has impacted on the amount of our monthly income that we receive. In some case, we had to cut almost half of the price, can imagine, and also have frequently ask and make sure that the traveler had to prepare their personal stuff in advance, meaning that we also I agree also with the Mr. Ang, yeah. The price is we make it very, very basic. We'll eliminate with the unnecessary facilitate, yeah. It's just make it basic, and the price also, sometimes we sell it almost half price to make them want to book the travel. And also we change the destination to more green areas, because we also do some research and follow the research in Indonesia that now the traveler want to travel more to green areas, like, and also private. So we make it happen with the affordable price. That's what we did in Moana.
Okay, in that sense, do you have like specific team to actually maybe revenue manager, things like that, to actually forecast the future about like the income itself?
Yes, actually, for the income itself, of course, we have the projection in this year and the next year, but of course, it's uncertainly time, and we cannot expect more than what we have in the last year actually. But we still keep want to run this business as healthy as possible.
I see. Okay. Okay, so both major thing like health protocols and also the pricing itself. Is there any kind of like limitations these precautions impacted to your business in a more specific ways? Like, I don't know, maybe like for example, in our company, in the very beginning of time, we had to actually lay off half of our teams, right? So that's like one thing. Maybe to Moana, is there like any major things that actually maybe a first time happening in your business?
Yes, it's happening even the pandemic hit the world. And in Indonesia, especially, we have no traveler and 3 months. And then we start to think what we can do, what the problem for Indonesia at this moment. And we found that the pandemic make people more stressed. So we are here to heal the stress out itself. So that's we change for example, the place that we are going to visit to be more green zone area, so they can relax by back to nature. And of course, the limitation of the people is impacted to our business. We make it small group, and the best something that interests more people to book the tour is minimum 2 people can be private tours. So it will be, wow, this is private tour, so people more interested to book the package of Moana.
Let's see. Okay. Okay, for Moana, it was like majorly about health protocols and also the pricing part. Maybe to Mr. Ang, what was the precautions itself that were taken on Wanderis, and what are the limitations?
Yeah, I think it is pretty much the same, right? Like what I explained earlier, what we did during this pandemic time. Yeah, I think, but different with Moana, who already operated from I think 2018 or 2019. We just launched on 2020, so we have the privilege that we don't need to let people go, right? Because I believe that's one of the hardest thing to do. I believe everyone in Bukit Vista and Moana, Anita, both of you will feel really bad and really hard to let people go, especially in the pandemic time, right? Letting people go itself is already really hard, but letting people go in the pandemic time, because we know that it will be very hard for them to survive, is even harder, right? So we have that privilege. We don't need to let people go. But what we did is we cut our projections, we cut our expense plan, so we don't spend ads, marketing. We don't spend marketing budget at all until I think year end, right? Because we don't know what will happen, right? We don't want just to spend some marketing budget expense, but it returns to nothing because people do not want to go back for traveling. Right, and if folks in Philippines or also Indonesia remember, I think in Indonesia people start to travel again on I think November and December, right? Yes, some people already start to travel locally on August and September and October, but people start to go even further on November only, right? So we cut our marketing budget. And we also, what we did back then was still figuring out, right, what kind of marketing, organic marketing, what kind of operation stuff that we need to prepare for the new normal we called back then.
Okay, that's interesting. Specifically for a business that is just started, I believe that marketing is really important, right? So in that sense, like when you cut the budget and everything, do you see do you have like the gap of difference on like how do you project and forecast in the beginning and then like how it turns out about the growth of the company itself?
Of course. Even right now, I just need to be honest and open, right? That we are still far away from our target, right? From our industrial target when we decided to rebrand Let's Wander Somewhere to Wanderis, right? Yeah, it affects us a lot, but we started to we decided that okay, we cannot just wait. We need to do something, and we decided like starting from mid of this year that we are going all out, right? If we can survive, then we survive. If we can't, then yeah, okay, we try again next time. Because if we just still waiting, right, we don't know when the pandemic will be over, right? So yeah, we just went all out starting from mid of this year.
I see. Okay, but I think I'm not sure about the. I checked Wanderis sites. It seems like there are like some trips in Bajo and like many other places, even until Raja Ampat, right? In Bali, the current state, this is like maybe what is it? The insights to not just Wanderers but every attendees in here. Bali is currently already open for international flight, as I heard, and also visa offshore is also granted too. So I hope that's going to be like better and better, like the very beginning starting point of where the tourism industry actually get back again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, of course, like that's previous thing Mbak Anita was saying, like, oh, the picture is so amazing. Like first time I visit the site, also like, oh my god, I miss traveling. And so yeah, hopefully this is like both to Moana and also Wanderis and Bukit Vista too, that we're going to like get back on track as soon as possible. Okay, and those limitations that been mentioned previously about health protocols and the number of visitors, and which actually causing the cutting the price and expenses of the company. Maybe this is relate to the third discussion questions. Maybe next topic. Next slide, please. Yes. So due to the situation and condition and all the hard decision that being made about the limitation itself, how did you guys actually optimize guest experience even with this limitation? So maybe over to Ang first.
Yeah, actually, again, on what Wanderers did, right? I think if we are talking about guest experience, then we are talking starting from day zero when they aware of Wanderers or aware of Moana until they departed, or they even canceled, right? So how did we try to improve, or how do we try to improve the guest experience? First thing first, we just make sure that we are being very helpful for the guests since the very beginning. We need to know everything, right? Because there are a lot of questions definitely from travelers. I guess you will also ask a lot of things when you are going to travel. Hey, what are the documents that I need? Hey, how about the health protocols right there? Hey, is this place open? Can I go there? And so on and so forth, right? So there will be more and more questions compared to the normal days before, right? So we just need to be very mindful about this. We need to know and keep updated with all of the information, so the guests were not pissed off, right? Hey, you don't know anything. You don't know the updated situation. How can I be comfortable to travel with you, right? So that's first. And then the second one, we need to be very flexible, yet making sure that we are not carrying too much risk or losses for the company. What I mean is, if you know, as a tour operator, you need to deal with the transport, rentals, owners, hotels, and then airlines and so on, right? And then each of them have their own regulations. Each of them has their own policies. And we definitely cannot just say or tell the guest that, hey, we cannot give you a refund. Why? Because yeah, the airlines told us so, because the hotel told us so, right? But we need to think through it. We need to think what is the best solution for the guests, right? Can we negotiate with the airlines? Can we negotiate with the hotels and so on, right? So it will be a win-win solution, both for the guests, for Wanderis and also the partners, right? Because this is hard time. No one wants to suffer, right? Everyone wants to save themselves, right? So we need to be the party who is in the middle of them, right? We need to make sure that the guest has the best solution options. We need to give them options. We cannot just tell them that, no, we can't, or you should do this, or you should do that. We need to give them options. And then at the same time, we need to also understand that there are a lot of uncertainties and some policies from the partners, right? So that's second one. And I think the third one, when they already departed or joined the trip, what we are trying to do is we just try to make sure, again, I don't know what is the right thing to do, but I just need to make sure that I apply the health protocols at the most comfortable level for the guests. As you know, not everybody do really care about the pandemic. Not everybody do really care about the health protocols, about wearing face masks, about using hand sanitizer, about keeping distance, right? Not everybody aware and comfortable with that. So in a private trip, definitely you need to adjust with them. What do they want, right? Are they comfortable to just open their face mask and so on, right? But we need to highlight the risk, right? We need to remind them in a polite way, right? But we cannot be that super strict and forget about the hospitality, about the service that we offer to them. In an open trip, it will be even harder, right? There are a lot of people. We know for sure that they don't know one each other. They can carry the virus. We don't know. And some of them might be really give a big no for a strict health protocol, right? So that's I don't know. I don't have like a clear answer for that. But the trip buddy, the people on the ground, our team on the ground is the one who needs to adjust on how do they handle the guests, right? To make sure that everyone are comfortable and feel safe enough when they are traveling with Wanderis.
I see. Okay. In that case, do you find it also challenging in terms of the calculated risk that your team in the field that actually might get impacted?
Of course. I mean, it's always worrying for us, right? After a trip, right? Whether our trip buddy got infected or not, especially last year until earlier this year, right? Because we still don't know a lot of things about the virus, about the pandemic, right? So, but what we can do is only one, making sure that even though the guests do not wear the face mask, our trip buddy, our team, they should wear the face mask, right? Whatever it is, you just need to wear your face mask. And then other than that, I think just need to follow the health protocols, just do the swab, antigen swab or PCR test before another trip. Because the scariest thing for us is that this trip buddy carrying the virus and infected the guests. That's the worst nightmare for every tour operator. I guess Anita also feel the same, I believe.
I see. Yes, of course. That's why I'm trying to balance. Okay, the question was asking about the guest experience, right? But at the same time, of course, we're going to concern about our team. So responding to that, Mbak Anita, do you agree or do you have also another additional perspective about that?
Yeah, I think we are in the same station to find the best solution. Yeah. In my case, we are still trying to always give the satisfactory services, even though we have to adjust several variables such as price, experience, the booking process, booking policy, and stuff like everybody company has to do. And at the very beginning, we try to make sure that the traveler feels safe to explore the areas. And then the health protocol was strictly implemented, and this way we deal with the psychological aspect. If we want to win people, we have to deal with the psychological aspect. And we need to focus on what they need. In this case, during pandemic, their need is like I said before, if we want to feel about the stressfulness. Yeah, a lot of people stress out because of this pandemic, and they want to go to more relaxed and solve the problem. And we try to communicate to the traveler that this cycling tours is your solution. And I think we made the point what they need and the best solution that we can give to them. And in some case, we also have some traveler. One of them that is an athlete that cannot join to competition, and it's so stressful for her and the family. And they just come to Jakarta. They go to Yogyakarta and they book the tour, and then they come back to Jakarta. So you can imagine that they can do these things because of their stress. They stress out, yeah. And luckily, Moana is still in Java, meaning that mostly the traveler is come from Java as well. They don't have to take a flight. They avoid the airlines because of the document and stuff, the requirement. So they are trying to change the way they travel. They use the car to highway, like new jalan tol in Java, so they can travel actually from Java, West Java to Jogja and to East Java more easily. And that's happened in Moana. And also we agree with Wanderis that photo and video is also something interesting for the traveler. Except they want to relax by the nature, they also want to keep their travel meaningfully. So they want to have wonderful video to keep for themselves, or they can post it into social media. And that is kind of the matter for a traveler right now.
I see, okay. Okay, very much. That's like very well. I got a lot of points where there are like some points that actually sharing the same problems between Moana, Wanderis, and also Bukit Vista. And this is also giving insights, I believe, to all the attendees in here about what are the struggles of like travel agency, like our property management and such, in that sense. So I also believe this discussion has been turning very interesting. I'm actually wanting to ask a question, but my timekeeper is like, okay, it's 1 more minute. So let's go and check what are the attendees' questions that they must have like some interesting questions too. So to the operator of the screen, maybe can share yes to the questions. Okay, let's see. Can you please zoom in a little bit so that everyone can see it in a clearer way. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there's no upvote. I'll randomly choose the question then. Okay, I might be interested on the very bottom part. After all of the restrictions, frictions, and changes that you guys have made and provide to the guest, sorry, scroll down. Oh, okay. Provide to the guest, what kind of expectations do you have to the guest? Maybe this is more likely over to Mr. Ang.
All right. So after all the restrictions, provide to the guest, what kind of expectations do you have? I don't know whether we can expect the guest, right? The only expectation right now is they want to travel. Actually, that's the only expectation, that they want to travel. But I think if the question is, okay, after they are willing to travel, they're willing to pay, what are the expectation is that the guests, all of the guests right now is also can have more understanding, right? I mean, back then, 2020, it is nightmare. I don't have the privilege of facing this nightmare of refund and cancellation. I believe Mbak Anita can explain that more, because they have operated when the pandemic struck, right? I haven't operated, so there is no refund, there's no schedule. Actually, yes, there are some down payments that have been paid to me, but it is not that hard compared to the companies that already operate at the time. So what I hope is now everyone is aware that this is uncertain time, and there are sometimes need to have like changes on the policies, terms and conditions, and so on, right? So I hope the guests also understand about that. But again, as a tour operator, you cannot expect much. As a service provider, you cannot expect much from the guests. It is you who need to adjust, right? Not the guests, right? But how there's also a way for you to make the guests adjust. How? Is convey the information clearly upfront, right? I mean, if you expect the guest to act in certain ways, to understand about the refund and cancellation policy, make it super clear, mention it upfront, right? And don't let like some gray area to be there. Unless you are a shady company, you will allow that. But if you are like a legit company, you won't allow a gray area in your terms and condition, because you just want to make clear and you want to avoid conflict with your guests, right? That's one. And then I think the second one is we also expect the guests to follow the health protocol for sure, because it is for the goods of everyone, both the service provider and also the guests. I think that's from me.
Okay, thank you. To Mrs. Anita, do you have any other expectation setting with your guests other than asking them to understand the current situation, following the health protocols? Maybe any additional part from your side?
Yes. Actually, I don't think they don't. The traveler now is they don't have money, but they want to keep their money to just for the necessary stuff only. So I expect the traveler to not always not to ask the very best or cheap price for them, but I hope them to understand as well that this situation is also hard for us. Yeah, it's not easy for us. So sometimes they keep asking for very cheap price that sometimes it's not it's too surprise for it's too
it just doesn't work, Mbak.
Yeah,
the price doesn't
for
work.
us like this. So I hope you can understand this situation as well. And then the second one is maybe hopefully they can also understand that after book the tours, we also preparing some stuff to be prepared, and then I hope them to do not cancel the tours offer. Okay, reschedule will be fine, but cancel will be problem for us. That's all.
Okay. Let's go to the next questions then. That was interesting. For this, I'm interested we have a question from Philippines actually. Hi from Philippines. What are the advantage you do preparing for the tourism to boom again? This is more likely to be like what exactly you're going to do in the near future on the precautions, or maybe like, as we know that PPKM level is keep on decreasing. So what are the actions? Maybe for Moana first, bisa, Mbak Anita?
Yeah. What the adventures that we prepare for the tourism boom again, and at this moment we are not thinking about ourselves only, but we also work together with the local people. Like we help them to sell their product. We also help them to keep sustain their green areas as well. That it also makes the tourists want to book the tours. It's because they want to give something to social. They want to keep this world much better. So in this case, we introducing about the concept of sustainable tourism, meaning that these travelers also not only go travel for themselves only, but they have meaningful journey that they can give something to nature, to people, and also for themselves. So yes, the advantage that I prepare is we run with the sustainable tourism concept.
Okay, that's like from Mbak Anita's side. Maybe to you, Mr. Ang.
I think from my end, what we prepare is we just try to strengthen our operations team. We are trying to enrich our itinerary, right? We are opening more and more destinations, and we are also figuring out, because when we were hit by the pandemic, one thing for sure we are sad, but when we reflected this back on 2020, we say that okay, maybe this is the way. We were given another chance to prepare even better, right? Because when we begin the operations, we just realized, oh, okay, we are not ready for this, we're not ready for that, we're not ready for a lot of things, right? So we were just given more time to prepare, right? That's from Wanderis, a company which just launched during the time of pandemic. But what did we prepare to get ready for the tourism to boom again? I think, yeah, opening more destinations, preparing a stronger ground operations team, having more partners. I think that's the thing that we make, and also clearing up our TNC. We just revamp our TNC, where our TNC hopefully will be more sustainable in the pandemic times. We have a super clear TNC cancellation, reschedule, revamp policy right now. So that's what we are preparing right now. And of course, the marketing, more campaigns, more ad spam, more collaborations with influencers, with key opinion leaders, and partnership, right? So who knows, after this, maybe Bukit Vista, Moana, and Wanderis can figure out some collaboration, right?
Yes, that's actually interesting ideas. Yeah, yeah, we can actually make a package, right? Because we manage people, accommodate them with the best properties they're looking for to actually stay, and there might be a chance to, like, for example, Wanderis right now has properties in Bajo, package in Bajo, right? And we might also want to come. So yeah, that's like really complimentary, I guess. Okay, thank you for the answer. I also see like very interesting question here. So I'll recite it to everyone. How is your plan to make this business is sustainably on the next future? Maybe like more, maybe it means sustainable on the next future, especially for Moana, since people may be more interested for driving a Tesla in the future. So what do you think, Anita?
Yeah, I think driving Tesla in the future is not is still in line with Moana sustainable bicycle tour, which is we are still environmentally friendly. Yeah, so I think that's not so. It's not a big problem for us. So as long as they want to get back to nature, they still want to experience with the tours. I think it's still in line. Yeah. And then our plan to sustainability in the future is, yeah, we keep we give more kind of packets, tour packets for more to nature, and then also something that you can visit by Tesla, of course. So that where the place that you can only visit by bicycle, and also the local access that only you can go by Moana. So yeah, this package is always around these areas actually.
Okay, yes, I would also echo that. I think Moana really supports the idea of sustainable tourism, and I would see it also like in a different context, because cycling is never going to be replaced by Tesla, because Tesla, yeah, okay, it's just like a vehicle that is eco-friendly, but not entirely, like sports and like for health too. So yeah, it's gonna be different. But this is actually going to be interesting to Mr. Ang too. Like, what are maybe I'd like to add a little bit spice to the questions. Like, what are the actions so far that Wanderis already been done in order to, like, supporting the sustainable tourism itself in the future?
Interesting question. Actually, when we first kick off our operations, we're thinking of also selling this sustainable, eco-friendly tag, right, for our trips. But we think the responsibility behind that tag or marketing jargon, right? I think for Mbak Anita, for Moana, it is really great, right? I'm really amazed to the tour operators that can already implement a more sustainable and eco-friendly tour activities, right? Wanderis is still trying to get there, but the simplest thing that we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce the number of plastic bottle. How? Yeah, we just bring like we just ask the wanderers to bring their own bottle, and in some special trips we also even provide them with tumbler. That's a very simple thing. I know it is like old days gimmick, right? When you're using the tumbler, you don't use the plastic bottle, but that's at least what we've done right now. Moving forward, I was inspired by some tour operator in US, I think, or in Europe, that they also calculate the carbon footprint of each of the traveler. And yeah, of course, we want to get there. We are not there yet, but yeah, we are for sure aiming there.
I see. That's actually very interesting because like small action matters, right? Better to start no matter how small it is. And even people are starting this lifestyle of having this bamboo straw and like things like that. Yeah. So of course it does matter. I think that's actually not really small even. Like if you can actually apply that to your entire customer, the wanderer, I believe that will be actually changing the environment, at least to the destinations that you aiming, right? So,
yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answers. I think we still have a few more minutes. This is going to be our last question, I guess. So I'm gonna pick this to actually be more warm in the room. About this question, is there any interesting and challenging incidents or problem arise during the pandemic? Maybe additional spices I'd like to add up for this question is that previously Anita also mentioned like I think Mr. Ang was mentioning that there are like guests that is like doesn't really believe the COVID things, and then like maybe at some point there are also guests that is I don't believe COVID, I don't want to wear mask, and so on and so on. So these questions I like to go over both of you guys, but maybe first over to Ang. Like do you have any interesting story, challenging in that sense during this pandemic?
Interesting. I think. Oh, okay. I think I don't know whether it is interesting or not, but of course, challenging is back then we have like a tour. We were asked to accompany for an advertising production, right? So they need to take to do a shooting in Banyuwangi in East Java. And then I think the final call is only like 1 day before the departure date, right? And then this is on early 2021 when swab tests or PCR tests are still like 2 days or 3 days, right? So you need 2 days or 3 days to get your PCR test, right? So 1 day before the departure, we just went crazy. We were trying to find some labs that open that day where they can help us to get the result of the test as soon as possible, right? So there are hiccups back then. We were super panicked because we need to depart early in the morning, but until 1 day before the departure, we don't have the document yet. But luckily, finally we get it, and then we successfully, the guests successfully depart. I think that's one of the challenging incidents or problem, right? Other than that, I cannot think of it because yeah, I think most of it are about reschedule, refund, cancellation. But on the ground, I don't. Yeah, everything's still under control.
Okay. I think that's gonna be like part of the concern of everyone in here that traveling and like afraid, like should I book ticket because if it's like not 24 hours and so on. So thank you for the tips. Last things to Mbak Anita, is there any interesting story you'd like to share?
Yeah, thank you. There is an interesting case actually. It's about travel revenge. If you know that after lockdown, like at PSBB, PPKM, whatever is that, people like they try to keep themselves in their city. They don't want to travel everywhere, but in the same time, they feel like, okay, I need to go out, yeah. Then they travel, they like travel frequency, I call it. They travel, go, and they book the tour in the same day. So you can imagine that in the beginning, our team, we make it very lean. It means we just have only few people on the Moana, but in the same time, in the sometime, traveler just book in the same times, like 20 people in the same time. So it's like, oh my God, and they want to book privately, like, yeah, we cannot control the people travel, but sometimes we are confused, and also we try to find out how to we manage our team to manage all the bookings comes.
I see. So you managed to actually facilitate all of the 20 people suddenly.
Yeah, 20 booking, for example. So yes, this travel events, if you don't have this accident, you will face this travel revenge.
Yeah, I agree with Anita. I will experience this on October, right? I have like there's a week, second or third week of October, where there are about like multiple trips going on, and yeah, we're lacking our team on the ground to handle that. Yeah, I agree with Anita, because when the regulation just lifted, right, people are allowed to go. Everyone will just go, right? They have the deposit, right, even earlier, because all of these trips are rescheduled or postponed trips. So yeah, I get what Anita said as well.
And also, you need to prepare yourself. Also, Mr. N, you need to prepare yourself on maybe November and December. Of course, it will be a lot of booking unless the government announced that there is a lockdown regulation.
Yeah.
Just prepare yourself for this case.
Yes. Okay. I think that's actually positive things, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to conclude this discussion this evening in a positive way to all the attendees. You can see that how the trends right now is changing, that we're going towards a more positive way. Indeed, in Bukit Vista also we're getting more bookings, October and so forwards. Responding to the uplifting regulations of the, everybody can actually travel now, can actually, even international flight is open. So this is to all the attendees and insightful discussions about, we need to be positive, especially I believe that a lot of the attendees today is hospitality practitioners. So always tetap semangat, what is like in English, spirit up, keep on having the high spirit on actually making the tourism industry greater again. So that's pretty much it then. Last part is that I need help actually from all the attendees in here. So in order to get improved by time that we wanted to actually have a better BPE talks in the future, right? So in that sense, I need all of you guys to actually fill in the survey that we already provided here, to actually tell us about what can we improve, what can be done better. So yeah, I would really appreciate for everyone to actually fill this in. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, everybody is actually filling this survey. Maybe I'd like to also everyone prepare for taking pictures. I'd like to ask gathered everyone maybe can open their camera and then like taking pictures all together. To see like the excitement from today's attendees and also the speakers. So, okay, maybe you can start to open, yeah? I'll check. Okay. Okay, thank you. Wow. Just now that you guys are opening the camera, I'm getting more excited to see the faces of the attendees. Thank you for attending today's sessions. Okay. Okay, maybe Akin would like to take pictures, please.
Yes, of course. If everyone is ready, I will take our picture. So please, everyone, get ready. And hopefully, unfortunately, since we have so many attendees, I will take 3 separate pictures because there's 3 separate, sections that actually I can see the attendees in. So,
Okay.
okay, the first picture is being taken, so people get ready. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you so much. And I will take one more picture to make sure I get everyone here. So 1, 2, 3. And maybe one last picture with the last section. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you very much everyone for the pictures. And before we leave, I would actually like to make some more announcements regarding Bukit Vista. So Bukit Vista is actually still offering internship opportunities. If you want to check our internship opportunities, please do go to the link that is on the bottom of the slide. So if you can go there, you will also be able to check out the available roles that are listed here. So we have some full-time roles offered as well as many internship opportunities as well. And you can find detailed information about each role and each of our internship opportunities on our Bukit Vista jobs page as well. And guys, please make sure to follow our Instagram page as well. As you can see, here is our link and here's our tag. So please make sure to follow BVE Talk Instagram page if you love this event and if you want to attend to more of our events as well. So this was it for our session. I would like to thank everyone for coming in, and I would also like to thank our speakers and our co-hosts for helping us manage this event as well. And if any of our attendees have any extra questions, they can come into the huddle session to actually interact with our speakers and our co-hosts as well. This huddle session is not mandatory, but if you like to attend and ask your questions, please do join us. For now, our event is officially over and we will move on to the huddle session in the same Zoom room. So,
Okay, thank you, Akin. Yes, I personally would like to also thank you to Mbak Anita, also Mr. Ang, and everybody that is attending today's session. It was really exciting to have the very insightful discussion. So for everyone that, again, that would like to still have questions and have discussion, we're opening the huddle session part so you guys can interact directly with the speakers. So yeah, back to you, Akin then.